Hey everybody, Dave Ustello coming at you once again with another Rocky Mountain Rankings. And today, this a little bit, we're going to be taking on one of my all-time favorite bands. And one that's been on a hot seat, well, for a bit lately. And, well, thankfully they got themselves off the hot seat. With not only me, but Priestum all over the place. All of Priestum. And of course, that's Judas Priest. Well, I recall, I think a week or two ago, it was announced that they were going to go out as a four-piece. Andy Sneap was regulated back to being producer, whatever. And they're saying, yeah, we're going to go out as a more powerful four-piece band. More powerful. Well, I'm sorry, to be more powerful, you generally add, you don't subtract. Excuse me. So, anyway, it was like a few days later after I did that, and Pete Pardo also chimed in on it. They reversed their stance on that and are going back out as a five-piece with Andy. That is fantastic. I'm happy. I'm great. You know, it's great. The only thing I would like them to like to see done now is Andy maybe be asked to join the band full time. You know, become part of the Priest. You know, be allowed to do more solos and stuff. I think he's a great player. I think it would be a great addition to be a full time member. You know, of course, I know there's a lot of people out there say, well, they should ask KK back. You know, and I'm sure KK's probably wondered, well, why don't they ask me? You know, in fact, if I remember correctly, he did wonder why they didn't ask him to come back when Glenn got sick. So, I don't know. Bad blood there, I guess, but we'll see what happens down the road. But like I said, I would like to see Andy become a more integrated part of the band instead of just being their touring partner and their producer. I think he deserves more than that. Of course, maybe he's happy with just his role. I don't know, but we'll see. But anyway, taking on by Priest. I got started with Priest back in the early '80s. Trying to think of the first album I got. I think my first album was Screaming for Vengeance. And then after that was, of course, British Steel. And of course, that, don't ask me what I got after that. It could have been anything. It could have been Point of Entry, Defenders of the Faith. I don't know. But, of course, like with everything, I got the whole discovery. The only one I don't have right now is the last one, Firepower. I know I should have it by now. It's been out for a while, but I'm not gonna give any excuses. Just an idiot, I guess, but I'm gonna get it. I am gonna get it. I should have, of course. You need green stuff to get it, and paying the bills takes precedence over getting music. People say, well, just put off a bill here or there, well, yeah. But then you come back and it's twice as much, so nope, don't want to do that. So anyway, for those of you who may not know how this works, I start out with my least favorite and work out all to my favorite. Just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean I hate it. It's just something I don't reach for as much as the others. And I love all Priest. Just like I said, some are more special than others. And I know I may catch some flack on my listing here. There's some albums that more recent that come out. I'm not going to say what they are. I'll mention that later when we get to them. People are going to wonder why you're ranking those so high. Those suck. Well, this is mine. This is what I like. If you disagree with it, fine. That's fine. But don't get vicious about it. That's not get vicious about it. It's nonsense. What you can do is leave your listing down below in the comments. I would like to see that because that's what this is all about. You get a conversation going. See what you like. Compared to what I like. Leave other comments. Keep them nice though, please. Don't be insulting. If it starts to come out as an assaulting thing, I will not read the rest of it. Being insulting serves no purpose. All it does is brew bad blood. So, anybody, and also please subscribe. I'd appreciate it, and like the video and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos. And hopefully, we'll continue on with this. And I'm starting to get a little bit more integrated into doing videos. My main problem is I'm not a major talker. I do get nervous from time to time, especially if in front of people. A lot of people, strangers and stuff. I have to wear sunglasses if I'm to get through it. But if I would like to get to the point where I would have guests on here or go on other people's, be guests with, other shows. Talking with other people I think would be a lot better than, right now I'm talking to this camera up here, but, I'm basically talking to you who's watching, but right now I'm talking to a camera. And interaction, that's what I'm thinking, the word I'm thinking of. Have an interaction here with somebody other than myself right at the moment. So anyway, let's get on with this. I'm going to start with, there's 16. Oh, before we get started though, there's one thing I almost forgot. One thing. Priest discography as of now is at 18 albums. I'm only going to be doing 16. I'm not going to include the 2 Ripper Owens. I don't own Demolition. I do own Jugulator. Jugulator's okay. It just, to me, is not true Priest. It was a reasonable facsimile. When it first came out, it kind of... Ooh, my microphone. When it first came out, I was like, whoa, this is hardcore. This is... like they're trying to jump on the alternative bandwagon or something. And nothing against Ripper Owens. He was a great singer. He is a great singer. It just, those songs. I think I've listened to Demolition twice, and I can't remember a thing about any of the songs. Jugulator is okay. I like a few songs, but I'm not going to include them. So if you're waiting to see whether I was going to rank those, well, sorry. So anyway, let's get on with it. Starting at number 16, Released September 6, 1974 on Gall Records. Produced by Roger Bain. Of course, I'm talking about Rockarola. Now this is the different color. This is the secondary cover they came up with. The original cover, this is the reissue. Yeah, the original cover had a bottle cap with Rockarola on it, and I believe they got a little bit of a spat with Coca-Cola over that because it was too similar. Though I have seen CDs with that cover, but this is the one I got. Here's the back cover. There's nothing inside, I mean, except the album. This is one of the last albums I got before the CD took over. Decent album, you know. I feel it could have been a little bit better if they, of course, they were just starting out. This is their debut. Because you had the core, Rob Halford, Glenn Tipton, K.K. Downing, Ian Hill, and then there's John Hinch. This is his only album with them. Of course, he recently passed away, sadly. So he's up and rock and roll heaven. But he got One for the Road. When I first heard this album and it started with Run, I'm like, whoa, this is. I didn't know what to think. I mean, it was totally opposite of what I'd got, started out with. Like Screaming for Vengeance and British Steel. I mean, it was kind of like a culture shock. Rockarola kind of reminds me of disco-y, Judas Priest disco-y take on disco. Yeah, Judas Priest take on disco or something. No, it's a catchy tune. I like Rockarola. Winter, Deep Freeze, Winter Retreat, and Cheater. The best songs on this album, the best combination. I like the way they flow together. Haunting, when it goes, ends with Cheater. Gives you a little glimpse of what was to come. Never Satisfied's a good one. Run of the Mill, okay. Dying to Meet You. Hero, good. And ends with a little instrumental, Caviar and Meth. Priest's original singer before Rob joined him, Al Atkins, was credited on here as with he co-wrote Winter, Never Satisfied, and Caviar and Mess. So there's a little bit of him still going. Of course, I think John Hinch, he did a good job. I think he was a good drummer. Was he the best? No, but still a decent drummer. But no, I still reach for this album from time to time. So don't get me wrong. It's not by any means a terrible album. It's just one I don't reach for, and it's just different. I mean, and sometimes different's good. So there you go. Rockarola, number 16. Excuse me. Moving right along here. This album, from listening to other people, Pete Pardo and them talk about it. It's not really a favorite from a lot of people, a lot of Priest alumni. I still like, it's a decent album, but I just haven't reached for quite a while. Released February 26, 1981 on Columbia Records. Point of entry. Back cover. Now here we go, another album cover, reissue or alternative cover. The original one had some kind of thing jutting out and with the sunset, and I don't know, I guess people didn't like that. Futuristic metal wing over the horizon shot. So, anyway, a couple of favorites of mine on there. Go down here where I can see better. This is still got the plastic on it, and I can't see the songs. Of course, a lot of mainstays for their concerts. Heading Out to the Highway. Don't Go. It's okay. They did the video to that. I could never figure out what they were trying to convey on that. Hot Rockin', one of my all-time favorites. Interesting thing on the video they did for Hot Rockin', Rob had his boots set on fire, and I guess he waited a little too long before they put it out, but after they put it out, leather still retains heat. It takes a while to cool down, so he's sitting there and it's still getting. I guess he burned his feet really, really good. Turning Circles, okay. Desert Plains, another mainstay of the concerts, love it. Solar Angels, okay. You Say Yes. Another one I can't figure out. All the Way, Troubleshooter, On the Run. All in all, there's like 3 tracks on here that are good. The rest are just filler, It's one of those albums where, sometimes you like the song, sometimes you don't. You just don't. So, but anyway, let's see. Oh, they added 2 bonus on the remaster, I guess. Thunder Road from the Ram It Down sessions and live recording of Desert Plains from recorded in St. Louis, 86. I'll have to check that out. Thunder Road. I haven't heard that one. So interesting. So anyway, decent album, but not one of my favorites. So that's number 15. Moving on to number 14. Okay. I remember when this one came out. It was very different from its predecessors. Very different. But where a lot of it lost fans, I think it also gained fans. But, me, for one, I loved it. Now I don't reach for as much, even though there's quite a few songs I love on it. But, it's not one of those albums where you have the hardcore Priest fans over on one side, the moderates in the middle, and the ones that just absolutely revere this album over here, But anyway, released April 14th, 1986 on Columbia Records. The album is most notable for the band's change, course, a commercial glam metal sound. Of course, I think they were trying to fit in, with the turbo. A lot of people, a lot of bands were trying to fit in. They wanted to stay relevant. A lot of bands were being pushed to the side, when glam metal came out, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care for that period very much. A lot of the bands that glam metal bands that I listen to, very, very few anymore. So anyway, still, when this came out, it was different, and difference, like I said, difference good, but sometimes it can wear out its welcome. Turbo Lover, of course, mainstay with their concerts even today. Locked In, great song, great. I love it where you start with Turbo Lover and it goes right into Locked In. Priest can do that, with the first two songs. Example, Screaming for Vengeance, with Riding the Wind, on the wind, just they have a knack for doing that. Private Property is okay, Parental Guidance. One of those songs that started high and just, I still listen to it occasionally, but it just doesn't do it totally like it used to. Rock You All Around the World, I love that song. Out in the Cold, fantastic. Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days, okay. Hot for Your Love, okay. Reckless, I do love Reckless. Great song. Bonus CD, All Fired Up. Another one from the original recordings of Turbo. And a live edition of Locked In. And then okay. Songs left over from Twin Turbos. Guess they were supposed to be, interesting. All Fired Up, Red, White, and Blue, Prisoners in Your Eyes. Those two, they're included on the remaster of Screaming for Vengeance. I've heard those two, Red, White, and Blue, and Prisoner of Your Eyes, which is really good. Really, I really like those. Of course, Red, White, and Blue is from British Steel reissue. Okay, that's reissue. Okay. Turn On Your Light, Ram It Down, Hard as Iron, Love You to Death, Monsters of Rock, Heart of a Lion, Under the Gun, Fighting for Your Love. 30th anniversary. Oh, we got a whole bunch in here. Well, I'm not going to go through all. But anyway, like I said, garnered a lot of pros and cons when it came out. But one of those albums starts high and kind of ends up regulated down lower. So, like I say, Turbo, number 14. Okay. All right. Now, this is probably where I'm going to get some flack. So, if you're going to give some flack, okay, but keep it nice. Please. Don't be mean to me. I have not heard anybody put this album down, though a few songs on it I have heard negative comments. Excuse me. But anyway, this was released in 2005. It was the band's first album since 1990, Painkiller, to feature Rob Halford. And so his mighty return. And if you're a Priest alumni, you know what I'm talking about. Number 13, Angel of Retribution. Let's see. There's the inside. There's not. Get this up here where you can see it. So I'm holding it down. Good grief. I don't think there's any band pictures in here. I actually remember where I was the first time I heard one of the songs, and that song was Revolution. I was going home. I just left work. I was going home. Actually, I wasn't going home. I was going to a store into Ogden. And that came on the radio. Back when I used to listen to the radio. Back when the radio was decent. Instead of playing the same thing over and over and over like it is now. When I heard it, I'm like, whoa. This is Priest? This is Priest? I was excited. Rob Halford was back. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe he was back with Priest. It was like a dream come true, a prayer answered. I was all, I don't think it was available yet when I heard the song. They were just getting it out there. But as soon as this came out, I was down to the record store and I bought this baby. Oh, and I listened the heck out of this. I think, let me see. Yeah, this has got a bonus disc, DVD, and it's got a little documentary, live footage of Priest on the United tour of summer 2004. So you see, I did not know that till this came out. I did not know Rob was back. Of course, I hadn't been in the Priest loop for quite a while. With I didn't know Ripper Owens had left the band. I didn't know what was going on. So when this came out, I was stoked. And of course, you're probably going, well, why are you putting it so low? Why are you putting it at 13? Because the other ones they're to come, I like a little better. It doesn't mean I don't like this album. It's just I haven't reached this for this quite a while. Again, don't get me wrong. There's strong songs on here, songs I love. One of my favorites, "Deal with the Devil." I love that song. Loch Ness, for a while that was ranked high on my chart, and it still does. Worth fighting for, Judas Rising, Revolution. Worth fighting for, Demonizer. I don't like Demonizer all that well. Wheels of Fire, Angel, great. Hell Rider, great. I still like Loch Ness. A lot of people don't like Loch Ness. I think it sucks. The Elegy. But I just don't reach for it as much as I used to. But, with all things music, I could start listening to this again and it could raise and be my number one down the road somewhere. But right now, I had to put it at 13 because the other ones are a little bit better in my eyes. So anyway, Angel, Retribution. Also Scott Travis was, of course, well, you knew that. He was playing with Ripper Owens. So anyway, moving right along here. Now this next one is actually been released under two different names, which I find funny. I guess it's, I don't know, one of those silly things that happen between two different countries, One country doesn't like this name, and the other country doesn't like that name, so they change it just to appease. Basically the same thing as with album covers. So anyway, released October 9th, 1978 on Columbia Records. Of course, I'm talking about Hellbent for Leather. There's the man on the back. Les Binks was the drummer. Of course, there was a core, Halford, Tipton, Downing, and Hill. Of course, it was all, Hellbent for Leather over here in the States. Killing Machine elsewhere. Also had different track listing for Hellbent for Leather due to controversy over the Cleveland elementary school shooting. Okay. A lot of people revere this album. I like it, but I just don't. I don't know. It's one of those albums that this actually probably could have been lower on my list. But there are songs on here that I revere. The side one, I can say it's a tale of two sides here. Side one's great. Delivering the Goods, Rock Forever, Evening Star, Love, Hellbent for Letters. Kind of wore out its welcome with me. Taking on the World of Love. Then you got side two. Burning Up. Green Mandalishi. Killing Machine. Running Wild. I do love Running Wild. Great concert song. Before the Dawn and Evil Fantasies. Side two, totally different from side one as far as I'm concerned. And I know a lot of people will echo that. It's strange. It's like they start out this heavy metal stuff and then let's do it more like how would I put it? Hair metal style stuff. But maybe it's just me. But it's still a good album. I reached for this a little bit more than the others that came before it. But so anyway, number 12, Hellbent for Leather, or Killing Machine, wherever you are. If I offended you by saying Hellbent for Leather, too bad. So anyway, moving right along. Well, another album that is revered by many. Even Mr. Pete Pardo of Sea Tranquility this is his. I believe this is his favorite Priest album. Released September. September. I've created a new month called September. Where it lies in the calendar, I have no idea, but it's somewhere in there. September. So maybe it's here between September and Dumtember. Who knows? February 10th, 1978 on Columbia Records. Stained Class. I was listening to this the other day at work, and if I hadn't listened to it, it'd probably have been lower. But it reminded me of how much I I do respect some of these albums. Songs, Exciter. I love that song. I even love it more on uh, Unleashed in the East. The way they open up with the album, album with that, great. White Heat, Red Hot, it's okay. Better by You than Better by Me. Spooky Tooth cover. Uh, Stained Class, it's okay. Invaders, like that. Saints in Hell, great song. Savage, love it. Beyond the Realms of Death, one of those songs that, oh, I have a love-hate relationship with. Some days I love it, some days I don't. And then Hero's End, great ender. But all in all, good solid album. It's just not high up in my higher echelons right moment, but still a great album. So, Stained Glass, number 11. Okay. This one, when it came out, it was just more, a little bit more beefier than its predecessor. Though its predecessor, I like a little bit more, but this one, I love just as much, but one had to be over the other. So, anyway, released January 4th, 1984 on Columbia Records. We're talking about, come here, Defenders of the Faith. Back when they were doing these wild paintings, illustrations. Fantastic album. Of course, it, created its own controversy with Eat Me Alive, Some people, I guess there's some people out there that's got to create controversy out of something. But, Free Will Burning. And, great opener. Right up there with Electric Eye. That's what I'm thinking. Right there with Hellion, Electric Eye. Then, of course, it leads right in the Jawbreaker. The 1-2 punch right there. Priest, they haven't done it for a while, but back then they had that 1-2 punch with a lot of the albums in the 80s. I just love the way they do that. They did it with Turbo and Locked In. Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind. Rock Hard, Ride Free. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites. The Sentinel. Dark, Doomy. You can almost picture the scene, them, Rob explaining what's going on. It's fantastic way he does that. You can see the burned out cars, rats and, blood everywhere. It's, these attackers coming for the Sentinel and fighting them off. Just fantastic song. Love Bites. It's okay. Eat Me Alive. All right. Some Heads Growing to Roll. Love it. Love it. Some heads are going to roll. Ooh. Then it goes right into Night Comes Down. All these songs on here, I think that is my favorite of all the songs on this album. Night Comes Down. It's haunting. Rob is, excellent vocals. Then it kind of goes a little bit downhill from there. Heavy Duty and Defenders of the Faith. I was expecting a little bit more. Heavy Duty, it's all right, but I just, I don't know. Just another a song that just, you know, just shuts me off sometimes. Uh, got the bonus songs here on the CD. Turn on Your Light, recorded during the Turbo sessions. I'm gonna go listen to these extended, these uh, bonus CDs, see what they sound like. So anyway, excellent album. Number 10, Defenders. Okay. This album is the very first Priest album that I ever bought. And if you remember when I started this video out, I mentioned what it was, but it's just when I heard, I still remember when I first heard one of the songs. I was in my car. It came on the radio, just like with Revolution, off of Angels. Just that hand reached out, grabbed me by the collar, and pulled me in. Released July 17th, 1982 on Columbia Records. Screaming for Vengeance. And that song I heard on the radio, You've Got Nothing Coming. A lot of people that song's gone down there as their favorite over the years, and it has got overplayed on the radio quite a bit. But that doesn't diminish this album. The power of this album. The Hellion, Electric Eye. I did my favorite concert openers. I think it was my second video I'd done on YouTube, and that was one of the concert openers. It's just excellent, an excellent concert opener. It gets you, grabs you and holds you and just punches you in the face. It's awesome. Then it leaves, another one of those 1-2 punches. Riding on the Wind. Oh, just Rob, his all-time power on his vocals. The whole band just firing all cylinders here on those songs. Just fantastic. Then it kind of goes down a little bit. Bloodstone's okay. Take These Chains and Pain and Pleasure, okay, but I think they're more, well, Take These Chains and Pain and Pleasure, more filler. Bloodstone, like I said, is okay. Because then Screaming for Vengeance, love it. Fantastic song. You Got Nothing Coming, of course. Right there, another 1-2 punch, Screaming, and You've Got Nothing Coming. So you get 2 1-2 punches on this album. Fever's all right. Devil's Child, decent. But all in all, aside from the weaker tracks, it's still a fantastic album. I think a little bit stronger than Defenders. And of course, I got the bonus CD, the extended CD, with Prisoners in Your Eyes and Devil's Child. Let's see. One of them's got, well, I won't worry about that right now. Yeah, live version of Devil's Child. But Prisoner in Your Eyes, that's from the Turbo Sessions. Great song. I love that song. I'm glad they included that on the bonus edition. So, anyway. Screaming for Vengeance. Fantastic. Okay, number 8. Number 8. Another album I'll probably get a little bit flack for having it to slow down. But it doesn't diminish, when I put together this list, I laid the albums out, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I love all these albums, and I do. Even Rock and Roll, the Point of Entry, I just looked at it and said, where do I start? So I usually start out with the weakest and move up to the best. This one I had to start out with the one I liked, I loved the most, and then work that way. So I had quite a time with this whole list, figuring out where albums were going to go. If I was to do this again in 3 or 4 months' time, just destroy this list. I keep my list so I know what I did. So, but anyway, if I destroy this list and start over, it could come out differently. It very well could come out differently. But right now, this is the way it is. And this another album that's revered by many. This album is got Priest on the map. Released March 23rd, 1976 on Gall Records. Their second album, Sad Wings of Destiny. There's the band on the back with Alan Moore on drums. Back before they adopted their leather and chains and stuff, they were wearing these chiffon type outfits, KK's got a fedora on. Imagine if they came out like that now, people would like, what the hell is wrong with them? But when I first heard this, I was kind of, another shocker like Rock and Rolla. Of course, I heard this before Rock and Rolla. Victim of Changes, of course, I'd heard that played live along with Ripper. Ripper, I never got into that. I've never, it's a good song, but I never could figure out why it's loved so much. People say that because Dreamer, Deceiver, and Deceiver. Love it. I mean, it shows the vocal range. Perfect example of the vocal range of Rob Halford. When he starts high and he just slowly comes down lower. I love it. I mean, I've always wanted to see them do that live. Of course, now, Rob can still hit the high notes somewhat. Unfortunately, he can't hit it like he used to. He's had to adapt, but he can still hit high notes, unlike some others, like Ian Gillan, unfortunately. But I just love Dreamer, Deceiver. Deceiver is just, 1-2 punch right there on this album. Prelude and Tyrant, Fantasy Genocide, Epitaph, Island of Domination. I love them all. They're not in the higher echelons of my list, but they're still strong. Like I said, I had a heck of time to figure out where to put these albums. A few months from now, this could be higher. So, but here right now, it's number 8. Sad Wings. Okay. Another one of those albums I started out with. I want to say this is the second album I bought, but I could be wrong. I do know I bought Screaming first. That's what got me on the Priest wagon. So a lot of people, this is their all-time favorite. I know it's one of the top 100 albums of all time. Anyway, uh, released April 14th, 1980 on Columbia Records. British Steel. Probably about 15 years ago, I believe, they did this entire album live. But I got the DVD, I believe, of that. A DVD or a VHS, one of the two. But anyway, it's got to be DVD. What can you say about this album? It hasn't been said before. I mean, Breaking the Law used to be one of my all-time favorites. Not my favorite now. It's kind of wore out. Not one of those songs that's been played way too much. I've heard it too much, and it's a song that's not, in that category where it can keep you interested in it. There are songs, well, at least to me, there are songs that I can listen over and over again and not get tired of. So, Rapid Fire, great live. Don't really care for it here. Metal Gods, of course. That song I can't get tired of. Grinder's great. United, I love it. Living After Midnight, another song that's worn out its welcome, but I still love it. I just don't listen to it as much. You don't have to be old to be wise, great. The Rage, great. Steeler, love that song. Love it. Song that I cannot get rid of, or get sick of. So, but all in all, strong album. A must-have for any Priest fan. So, number 7, British Steel. Trying to knock my scissors off again. All right, moving right along. I can see this is going to be another long video. It's going to take me probably a couple hours to upload it. Anyway, another one of those albums, a song that was played on the radio. And the song, it was like an all-out attack. I mean, it's like you're just getting punched by these awesome feeling fists, They're not hurting you. You're loving it. I mean, they're just hitting you and you're like, oh, pure rapture. But anyway, released September 1990. It was the last to feature Rob Halford for quite a while until Angel Retribution. I'm talking about Painkiller. And the song I'm talking about is the title song. I heard that and it just was an all-out assault of pleasure. I mean, I just... you have to experience, if you don't know Painkiller, if you haven't heard Painkiller, you've got to hear it. It's awesome. Of course, then it goes right into Hell Patrol. Not quite a 1-2 punch, but close. All Guns Blazing. They should have had that second. Then Hell Patrol. But still, I love it. All Guns Blazing. Leather Rebel, the weakest song. Along with Metal Meltdown. really dig those all that great. Nightcrawler, oh, haunting. Just, you know, a lot of people got on because they were using keyboards, keyboard sounds, synthesizers, whatever. But it just adds to it. Between the hammer and the anvil, another assault. Touch of Evil, fantastic. Battle Hymn and One Shot at Glory, fantastic. I mean, just awesome, awesome. Priest. It's too bad that Rob had to leave the band because they were just back to firing on all cylinders here. I mean, there was if they would have continued in this vein at the time, they would have went from an 8-cylinder to a 16-cylinder engine. That's the way they were headed. Unfortunately, well, I won't get into that. But anyway, if you have never heard this album, check it out. So anyway, Painkiller, number 6. And we're in the top 5. Like I said, top 5. Now I know I'm going to get probably some crap for this one. And I don't care. Because I love this album. I do. When I first heard it, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I still love it. I know there's a lot of people out there. Chris Allo. If you ever hear this. I love this album. I think Pete doesn't like it either. A lot of them. So, but anyway. Released. See, where is it? June of 2008 on Epic Records. The mighty Nostradamus. Yes, it's the Nostradamus album. The double album that a lot of people just revile, but I love. Concept album. People say, Priest doing a concept album is just unheard of. It shouldn't have been done. I can't remember the first album or the first song I heard on here. I think. Oh. So, probably because I forgot because I loved the whole thing. I was half tempted to put this at number 1. But there are a few weak points here and there that, but on the whole, for me it works. Dawn of Creation, Prophecy, Awakening, Revelation, 4 Horsemen, War, Sands of Time, Pestilence and Plague, Death, Haunting, Death, oh God, I just love it. Conquest, Lost Love, Persecution, Just 2, Solitude, Exile, Alone, Shadows in the Flame, great. Visions, Hope, New Beginning, and Calm Before the Storm. Calm Before the Storm and Nostradamus. My favorite track combo right there. I just love that. Future of Mankind, kind of weak. Alone, Exile, those songs I don't really dig too much. But like I said, all in a whole, I love this album. I think a lot of people were not prepared for it. I mean, Priest is a pure heavy metal band. prog metal. You know, they've touched on it here and there with other albums, but mainly, you know, it just wasn't. A lot of people met the B, but you know, to me, I just love this album. You know, I've played the heck out of this album, so you know, if you think that I'm wrong, too bad. I'm not wrong for me. I love it. Nostradamus, number 5. Okay. Okay. Now we're coming to the point where, well, most current point with Priest. With Priest. Uh, this is the first one with Andy Sneap as co-producer, and also the one where he, I think, started touring with him. He might have started touring with him on the previous album. I can't remember. I don't think he did. They were released in 2018. I don't have a physical copy of it yet. I am going to get it. I know I should have had it already, but, well, can't have everything all at once. Of course, I'm talking about Firepower. This album is, when I first heard it, I was kind of a little up on arms about it. I'm like, well, you know, I know it's hard to explain. It just struck me funny. But now I've listened to more. Maybe that's why I didn't get it right up front, because it kind of didn't ring true to me at the time. I listened to it again a while ago before when I was getting ready to do this video. It's growing on me. It is definitely growing on me, and I definitely will get this album. If you have not got this album, do get it. Some people say it's a little bit long, you know, 14 songs, but, you know, oh well. Good 1-2 punch. Not the greatest, but good, you know, Firepower, Lightning Strikes. Evil Lies Dying, great. Never the Hero. Necromancer. Children of the Sun. Guardian Instrumental is great. Rising from Ruins, Flamethrower, Spectre, Traitor's Gate, No Surrender, Lone Wolf, and Sea of Red. I mean, Priest, what can you say? You know, they continue in this vein, in which I hope they do on their next album. You know, and it's supposedly coming. Hopefully, they'll get it out this year. Though Rob and them said, you know, Richie said, you know, might not be till next year, the way things are going. And of course, the Big C is kind of throwing things for a loop with a lot of bands. A lot of it, you know, some of it not good. You know, look what happened with Nightwish, you know, losing their bass player, Marco. I mean, a sad situation there, but you know, and then Richie, for, you know, Priest, you know, having his heart attack on stage. You know, I mean, you know, I'm afraid if I would have started getting chest pains, I would have bowed out. You know, I wouldn't have been able to finish the song. You know, he got some. He's strong, man, to be able to finish the song and walk off stage and then go right to the hospital. You know, he's a better man than me. But anyway, I'm definitely going to get this album. The way it's going, you know, this someday could be my number 1. You know, who knows? We'll see. But anyway, number 4, Firepower. Okay. Another album I know I'm going to probably get flack for. Because I know there's people that don't like this album. though they don't like it. They like it a little bit better than Nostradamus. Um, but I remember when this came out, I was, I just love it. Couple weak songs, but all in all, fantastic. Released May 17th, 1988 on Columbia Records. Their last feature longtime drummer Dave Holland, who left, sadly. So I'm talking about Ram It Down. Yeah, Ram It Down. Ram it down, right to the heart of this town. Ram it down. Another great 1-2 punch starting out. I don't care, what you say. I love it. Ram It Down, heavy metal. Love Zone, a song that I love, and but not Priest, but I still love it. Come and Get It's great. Hard as Iron, love it. Oh, I think my favorite song on the whole album, Hard as Iron. Blood Red Skies, close second to Hard as Iron. Love it. I'm a Rocker, great. Johnny Be Good, a lot of people don't like that song. I love it. Love You to Death is okay, and Monsters Rock. The two weaker tracks, but still great tracks. Bonus edition here, Night Comes Down live and Bloodstone live. And they got outtakes, Thunder Road, Fire Burns Below from Stained Class, Thunder Road's from Point of Entry. I'm going to have to check these out. My Design remains unreleased. Unreleased. I don't know what that means. But anyway. A lot of people say this is, their weakest album outside of Nostradamus, but I just revere this. I mean, another album that could easily be number one down the road. And I was half tempted. Another one album I was half tempted to put at number one. But anyway, number 3, Ram It Down. Okay. Put my CDs with the vinyl. Can't do that. What am I doing? Okay. The top 2. The top 2. If you're a Priest fan, you know which top 2 they are. Which albums they are. But you don't know the combo, do you? It's number 2, they could easily switch places. But right now I had to pick, number 1 and number 2, and this is the way it is. The way it's going to stay for right now. But easily change places down the road. Released April 8th, 1977 on Columbia Records. The only album that didn't have a regular drummer, though they asked the sessions drummer that played on it, Simon Phillips, to join the band. He declined, which I wish he would have stayed on. He's an awesome drummer. Of course, Sin After Sin. Look at that album cover. Of course, in the back, fantastic. The skull down here. Skinny's lying around. When I first heard this album, it just blew me away. I mean, it starts out with one of my all-time favorites, Sinner. Then leads to another favorite, especially live, Diamonds and Rust, Starbreaker. Love it. I mean, why they don't play that more live? I wish they would. Last Rose of Summer, hauntingly good. Side 2, Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest. Raw Deal. Then ends with Here Comes the Tears and Dissident Aggressor. Oh, if you don't know this album, check it out. I mean, this is the one that got them going in the direction that, the right direction. Sad Wings got them in there. This one got them in the, going in the right direction. But the last 2 tracks, I just love it. It could easily be my number 1. Bonus tracks, Race with the Devil, the Gun cover recorded during the Stained Glass sessions, and Jawbreaker Live, Long Beach. Yeah, I've always loved this cover, but it'll always remain in my top 5 at least, if not my number 1 someday. But right now it's number 2. And that brings us to number 1. Hell, numero uno. Released July 8th, 2014 in Europe, and July 11th in the UK, and July 14th, in the US in July 8th. In Europe on July 11th, and UK July 14th. I wonder why they did that. Interesting. But anyway, Redeemer of Souls. When this first came out, a lot of negative comments were coming out. Like, well, it sounds like it was recorded in a swamp. I listened to it, and I'm like, if you go back to, especially earlier albums, you get that same sound, the same sound. But it's just chock full of power. Dragonaut, and then leads into Redeemer of Souls. Not quite a full on out assault on the 1-2 punch, but still great. Hall's Valhalla. Awesome. Swords of I can never pronounce that name. Demoskel, or whatever. I just call it the Sword. March of the Damned. Down in Flames. Hellenbeck, great. Cold-Blooded and Metalizer, the only 2 songs that I really don't all out like, but still decent. No, I tell you that, Cold-Blooded, great. It's Crossfire, I'm thinking. Crossfire. Secrets of the Dead. Haunting. Battle Cry. Fantastic. Beginning of the End. Now, this CD, I got the regular CD, but then I heard this one on YouTube Music, and it had the bonus disc, and I was just blown away. Why they left some of these songs on on the cutting room floor. Snakebite, love it. Tears of Blood, Creatures. Probably not the strongest, with Bring It On, but Never Forget. I heard that song, fell in love. Never Forget. I like that better than Beginning of the End. probably because it's a little bit more upbeat than beginning. I think they should have flipped that. I think they should have had Never Forget on the end of the album instead of beginning of the end. I think the reason why they included beginning of the end is because this was supposed to be the Epitaph tour, I believe. Yeah. They're supposed to call it a day, but like with all bands, I mean, Scorpions did the same thing. They said, well, we're retiring. We're going to do one more tour. That was what, 10 years ago? I think these bands, they get this idea that, well, we've been together this long, we're tired of doing this and this and this. Let's call it a day. Let's do one more tour. They go out on that tour and they're like, why are we going to retire? Why are we retiring? Or they say they go home and relax and they get the bug. If you're familiar with Anvil, there's I can't remember his full name, but Lips. He goes by Lips. Their lead singer and guitarist. He was doing an interview, and somebody asked him, you think you'll ever retire? And he goes, you don't retire from music. You really don't retire from, especially rock and roll. You do not retire. So you look back to all these bands and stuff. The bands ended, but the players went on to other things. And a lot of them, David Bowie and Jim Morrison said, the only way you retire is when you're being lowered to the ground. And he's right. I've heard a lot of people, David Coverdale said he was going to retire. He's still going. Can't think of some. There's some others that said they're. Ozzy said he was going to retire after Black Sabbath, and he's still going strong. Tony Iommi, you keep going because you love it. I love music. You don't like say one day, okay, that's it. I'm retired from listening to music. Retire from listening to music. You don't do that. So, I think Priest will continue on. It might get to the point where they won't be touring as much, but who knows? And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Rod and the guys will say, we've had enough. But look at Ian Gillan and Ian Pace. Ian Pace is the only original member of Deep Purple left. Of course, Richie Blackmore, he's doing his own thing. He's still going strong. But Ian Gillan, he can't hit the high ranges, but he's still singing. So I think as long as Rob can get about and still sing, you may ate some cookies, some chocolate chip pumpkin cookies. Delicious. Can't get enough of those. But I think as long as Rob can still function and still sing, they'll keep going. They'll keep going. Until one day, it'll be a sad day when we get the news that he's gone or one of the others are gone, I hope that doesn't happen for a long, long, long time. I hope Rob and them keeps going. I stay healthy and vibrant, you know. But, the older you get, you get to that point where you don't want to gotta get up and go to work, or you gotta go do this. Sometimes you have to force yourself. It can be tough, but you gotta keep plugging away. So anyway, almost go hour and a half here. So little recap. Number 1, Redeemer Your Souls. Number 2, Sin After Sin. Number 3, mix things up here, Ram It Down. Number 4, Firepower, which I don't have. Number 5, Nostradamus. Number 6, Painkiller. Number 7, British Steel. Number 8, Sad Wings of Destiny. Number 9, Screaming. Number 10, Defenders of the Faith. Number 11, Stained Glass King. Little note on that. When I first saw this album, I thought it said stained glass. I did. I thought it said stained glass. Number 12. Hell Bent for Leather or Killing Machine, whichever you want. That's the name. Number 13. Angel of Retribution. Number 14. Terrible Lover. Number 15. Knock things over here. Point of Entry. And rounded up, number 16. Rockarola. Of course, I bought this album down. I didn't include this, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. Fantastic live album. Must have. Unleashed in the East. Fantastic tracks. Exciter and running, 1-2 punch right here. Exciter, Running Wild. Sinner, Ripper, Green Man Lishi, Diamond and Rust, Victim of Changes, Genocide, and Tyrant. Fantastic. So, anyway, there you have it, people. Judas Priest. All 16 albums that I consider Priest. Of course, like I said, the Ripper Owens ones are okay, but I'm not going to include them. Sorry. So anyway, please leave your listing down below. If you want to include the Ripper Owens ones, go for it. But, that's you. This is me. So have a good evening, good day, whatever. You'll be seeing this on Monday. This is Saturday right now. But have a good coming week, and hopefully, we got hopefully one more month of bad weather, cold weather here in the northern part of America, in the West and stuff. I'm getting sick and tired of the cold. But what can you do? But hopefully one more month, if we're lucky, 2. You in the southern states where it's warm, I hope you bake this summer. I'm just kidding. But anyway, have a good week, and we'll see you all later.